8.6 billion shillings that the lecturers they go back to classes. So, to get more about this, we are now joined by the University Academic Staff Union Secretary General, Mr. Constantine, was telling us exactly what they and why they held their processions today. Mr. Songa, welcome to Live. This is the news. Tell us what happened today and your fresh demands today.
Thank you very much. Treasury. The reason why we did that is that we have realized that the government is not to be signed on 26 September 2024. What we signed, there was no mention of billion. And realized that the government gave it of 4.3 billion, and they're not talking about the balance of 5.3 billion. So that's the reason why we saw it wise to take to them a petition. They understand September 2024. And what we are telling the contract on their own by introducing a global figure. That return to work formula is mentioned there is that we were supposed to simulate 4%, 7%, and 10%. And we did that. We want the government to stick to the terms and provisions of that return to work formula. When it comes
Well, we do apologize for the hitch that you're experiencing there. Well, we shall be keeping you updated on the lecturers' strike, which where they have taken to the streets, holding a procession demanding the immediate implementation of the collective bargaining agreement. Now we move on to the Council of Governors, where they are holding an extraordinary council meeting Monday, focusing on the critical issues that directly impact county governments across the nation. Now let's listen in.
Act, National Government Regulations 2015, as read with the Supreme Court Advisory Opinion number 3 of 2019 and the Attorney General's Advisory Opinion of September 2024, counties are receiving 50% of the equitable share based on fiscal year 2023-24's allocation. That's previous year's allocation. This is just a stopgap measure that the Council of Governors sought to ensure continuity of operations to lack of a county allocation and Revenue Act. The National Treasury, even on the basis of this arrangement, is yet to disburse 63.6 billion for October and November 2024 allocations. However, by December 2024, the 50% will have been exhausted, which means county governments will not receive any disbursements from January 2025 if the current situation continues to hold. We note with great concern the delays by the Controller of Budget to approve requisitions for the withdrawal of funds. This is unacceptable to an institution that's supposed to be facilitated. We call upon the Controller of Budget to stop being a bottleneck to this process and ensure counties access their funds in a timely manner. We therefore call upon the Senate to expeditiously pass the County Allocation of Revenue Act to resolve this delay. Additionally, we demand that the National Treasury immediately releases funds owed to counties, failure to which the county governments will have no option but to shut down operations completely. We cannot be in November, that is the end of November, moving to December, and are still talking of August and September release of funds. Moving on to another matter, pending claims from NHIF and Social Health Authority, SHA. We note that as of May 2024, the total outstanding debts owed to county governments by the defunct National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, was Kenya shillings 12.9 billion. So far, 3.8 billion of this has been remitted, and counties are currently still owed 9.1 billion. We call upon the SHA to expedite the payment of pending claims under the NHIF and SHA. This will allow for timely payment of our vendors, as well as effective service provision for the patients. We also call upon all Kenyans to continue registering for SHA, as the success of universal health coverage, UHC, depends on this registration. In conclusion, as we conclude, we wish to reiterate that devolution is under immense threat, being starved of resources, thereby crippling counties' ability to offer essential services to the Kenyans and to spur economic growth. We call upon all stakeholders and friends of devolution to remain vigilant and join us in safeguarding the welfare of Kenyans and the integrity of our Constitution. Devolution is a cornerstone of our governance and must be protected at all costs. Asanteni sana. Signed, yours truly, Ahmed Abdullahi.
Well, that is the chair of the Council of Governors, Ahmed Abdullahi, raising the governor's raft of demands revolving around the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2024, the County Allocation Bill, and the current status of disbursing counties' equitable share of revenue. Well, we shall be keeping updated in our subsequent bulletins. For now, we move on. The Federation of Women Lawyers in Kenya, FIDA, has called on the Ministry of Kenya, on the Ministry of Health to adopt a rights-based approach in health administration. Speaking in Nairobi, the rights group said transition from the National Health Insurance Fund to Social Health Insurance Fund has exposed glaring systemic gaps which have negatively affected access to equitable and affordable care for many Kenyans. They revealed that the rollout of SHIF has been plagued by confusion, lack of awareness, and inadequate health system preparedness. They are calling on the government to establish an information center to enable Kenyans register their complaints about the new system of health.
We therefore urge the Ministry of Health and the Social Health Authority to prioritize the development of clear operational guidelines and communication strategies to ensure seamless access to healthcare. Public sensitization campaigns targeting healthcare professionals, facilities, and the public are critical for restoring trust and transparency.
The Social Health Authority should operationalize feedback mechanisms and reimbursement systems for patients forced to make out-of-pocket payments since October. Emergency care access, as guaranteed under Article 43(2) of the Constitution, must be safeguarded with clear exceptions and extended time limits where necessary.
Going to have integration of HIV care in the new social health insurance plans, then there needs to be clarity on, are we now going to do away with comprehensive care centers, what we usually call CCCs, and what we also usually call drop-in centers for where persons living with HIV receive their antiretrovirals? Or are we going then to require them to go, just like every other Kenyan, to levels 1, 2, 3, so that is where they're going to pick up their drugs?
The family of Vincent Anzala, a 62-year-old Kenyan man who died under mysterious circumstances in Somalia, is urgently seeking government assistance to repatriate his body. Anzala, who had traveled to Somalia for work as a laundry attendant, was reportedly buried without the family's consent, violating their cultural traditions. According to his wife, Tepla Anzala, she was devastated to learn of her husband's death and burial in a single phone call just hours after their last conversation, during which he was in good health and had spoken of plans to return home.
Nimesikia amekufa tarehe 31. Amemaliza siku moja, wananiambia wamemzika. Mimi niliongea na baba usiku, akaniambia ako Qatar, sikuwa najua ako Somalia. Na that time alikuwa amesema ana travel akufike Kenya on Saturday. Sasa kwa maoni yangu, naomba yeyote aliyo na msaada aone kilio cha wazee na mama na sisi watoto wake, waturudishie mwili yake. Hatutaki chochote, tunahitaji tu mwili yake tuzike na tuachane naye.
And on health matters, at least 6,000 newborn babies are born with heart conditions annually in the country. This emerged during an open heart surgery at Mpisha Hospital in Nairobi, where 19 babies were operated on, while 8 had device closure procedures at no cost.
Families with children with congenital heart conditions can face a variety of challenges, including stress, due to financial constraints. Subsequently, hundreds of families with children suffering similar cases flocked the Mpisha Hospital in Nairobi for this life-changing event. Among the lucky families were that of Betty Chepwogen from Kericho County and Caroline Kaigua from Meru County.
Karibu milioni 2 na inategemea mtoto akikaa ICU sana inaweza enda hata mpaka milioni kadhaa. Ya tuligaramia ni kama tu ni free kwa sababu SHA iligaramia na hiyo ingine Mpisha wakasimamia.
Tukamit cardiologists from abroad ambao wamekuwa msaada sana kwetu, where we didn't have money, because my case nilikuwa naambiwa sometimes inaweza enda India, it is a bit delicate, lakini nilikuwa nikiambiwa hiyo nitagaramika mamilioni, lakini hapa mimi nimesaidika through SHA and this organization, na mtoto wangu amekuwa filled and she's recovering and she's good.
It was a mission to give the children a new life.
Screening, which we have a 4-day screening, and through that we select our patient through the meetings that we have with the team. They come twice a year from the UK, and and they run almost about a 10-day clinic every day.
The cardiologists, drawn from both local and international hospitals, successfully performed 19 open heart surgeries, while 8 disadvantaged children had device closure at no cost. Doctors lamented that lack of access to cardiac care in the country, saying many of these children will fail to live past their early age.
Kenya is overwhelmed with children with heart conditions, so we have potential requirement of between 3,000 to 4,000 open heart surgeries and about 3,000 to 4,000 keyhole surgeries a year. We're not even doing 10%. So from our perspective, there are lots of cardiologists in Kenya at the moment, but they're not enough. But we also require a center where you can do this continuously with good amount of funding.
It's just that there's an overwhelming number of children who need these surgeries, and given the cost, it's hard to get them all operated in one institution like Kenyatta or Mpisha alone. So it's something that we have to collaborate together with not only the public institutions but also the private institutions to work together to make sure that we can operate for all these.
The doctor said at least 6,000 babies are born with heart conditions annually.
And in the political arena, the Democratic Alliance Party has initiated the process of creating new political partnerships as it unveiled its party leader as the presidential candidate in the 2027 general election. Speaking in Tesson, North Busia County, party leader of DAP Eugene Wamalwa said he is fit to run for the country's top seat come 2027.
Leader wetu akienda huko kama principal atakuwa tayari ni presidential candidate. Hata enda huko alienda mabili hapana. Hiyo sisi tumefanya nini? Na katika Western ni peke yake ameteuliwa na chama chake kuwa presidential candidate.
First party standing in Western Kenya inaitwa DAP Kenya. Hivi mengine yote imemezwa. So nawaomba ya kwamba mkiwa hapa siku ya leo muombe tukiwa na Father Wamalwa, tukiwa na MCA Wamalwa, tarehe 10 mwezi wa 8 2027 jina la Wamalwa litakuwa kwa ballot ya the presidential.
Residents of Igorera sub-location Bomachoge Borabu ward are decrying a persistent power blackout owing to a faulty transformer. According to the residents, the transformer that serves them at Igorera dispensary has been faulty, putting their businesses at risk and affecting operations in schools and health facilities. They are now calling on relevant government bodies and the area legislature to ensure the matter is addressed as a priority.
Ni ya stima. Hapa tuko karibu na hospitali ya Igorera dispensary. Sasa sita tuko naye hapa ni kubwa sana kwa sababu watoto wanaendelea kulipa hizi, mtihani inaendelea. Sasa njia ya kulipa hizi stima hakuna, sasa watoto hawalipa hizi. Na tena tuko na magonjwa hapa, kila mtu nyumba yake huwezi jua kama mtu iko mgonjwa.
Hii stima imetusumbua, imemaliza mwezi moja. Hii stima ilikuwa inaona kidogo kidogo kwa manyumba zetu. Imefika wakati wenyewe sasa wa Kenya bao wamekuja kuona, wametoa wires kuangalia hivi vizuri, tukafikiri tunasaidiwa stima, bado.
Tunaomba Kenya Power kwa uwezo wenu mufike shuleni mtutengenezee hii stima, ndio watoto hii wiki yenye inaendelea waweze kumaliza mtihani yao vyema, kwa sababu wao ni viongozi wa kesho.
Kitui County Commissioner Kipchumba Ruto has spearheaded a tree planting exercise in Mwingi North in a bid to increase forest cover and combat climate change effects. The administrator led the members of public and local leaders in the two-day exercise where 14,000 trees were planted in public institutions, among them Cuso Low Coats. The County Commissioner urged the locals to take advantage of the ongoing rains to plant trees.
Leo na kesho tutakuwa tukipanda ward 3. Leo tunaanza na ward ya Sheikuru. Kesho tutaanza na ward, tutaenda tupande ward ya Chuso, alafu tumalizie ward ya Ngomeni.
Takriban 10,000 help kwa wananchi wa Mwingi North constituency pamoja Sheikuru na Chuso sub-counties. So this will go a very long way to maybe reversing the effects of climate change, which has brought untold sufferings to the environment.
A community-based organization in Kisii County has put in place strategies to create awareness on the Public Participation Bill, which aims to provide a legal framework for public participation at both the national and county levels of government. The participants challenged the county leaders to publish dates through the media whenever the public participation sessions were to be held to attract high turn-up and ownership of the projects by the public.
Sasa maneno wenzangu wameleta hapa ni mazuri kuhusu mzee na mama na watoto wao. Tusaidiane, tupeleke watoto wote shule, tusiseme huyu ni msichana, huyu ni mvulana. Tuwasomese wote wakuje kutusaidia.
People should stop hiding their people who are able differently in their homes so that they can bring them out, they can get the services. The county government is having services for people living with disability. Like the weeks that have ended, there was a clinic aid where people who have disability were being registered.
Urge our leaders to always involve the community because they know the problems and they have the solutions to even their problems. So it is important to involve the community in all stages of budget making, right from planning to execution and even to monitoring and evaluation.
We realize that most people don't attend public participation forums because one, they are not being involved, two, advertisement not being done. So by we coming here to the ground, we'll be reaching those people who have not yet been reached by either the media or by those people who usually plan from the county and national government.
The Communist Party Marxist Kenya, under its newly elected leadership, has promised to bring in new, vibrant and creative ways of making wealth that will bring dignity to the majority of the poor Kenyan population. Speaking after the two-day Congress at a Nairobi hotel, the new chairman, Kaluka Mwaivu, and General Secretary Bukangesa said the party is people-centered and will be the watchdog by playing the oversight role. Over 150 delegates from across the country had conglomerated for the 2 days delegates conference in Nairobi to adopt strategies that will strengthen the political outfit.
Kubwa zaidi ya kuenda sasa kwa wafanyikazi, kwa wakulima, manake chama chetu si chama tu kingine, ni chama ambacho kinasukuma mambo ya kitabaka.
These people only disagree when on what amount to eat. They don't disagree because they disagree on ideas. That is why when the young people movement consumed the street with tribalists, they were forced to start talking because their eating was challenged.
The government has initiated the process of forming child labor committees across the 47 counties in a bid to curb child labor and exploitation. At the same time, the state has issued an apology to Uganda over what the country termed as trafficking of minors from Karamoja area to work as house helps. Speaking during an event, PS for Labor and Skills Development Shadrach Mwadime said that the government is keen on ending child labor practices within its borders by partnering with key stakeholders.
And we'll work very closely with the DPP Kenya to have those who are exploiting these young girls arrested, arraigned in court, and hopefully imprisoned. Because that is not right. Whatever has been happening is extremely wanting. And I want to apologize to my brother from Uganda on behalf of the government of Kenya on the exploitation of children from Karamoja. I'm really sorry about that, and we'll do the best that we can. This is statistics that we were given recently by Grace. At least I heard about it just about 2 months ago from grace. But we will do the very best that we can to do away with the exploitation of your children, because your children are required in Uganda so that as you build their capacity, they can also be able to exploit the resources that you have.
Now moving on, Kenya National Union of Teachers has urged the Teachers Service Commission to restore the affirmative action status for Kajiado County-based teachers, citing its designation as a hardship area. Speaking during the annual teachers meeting, NAT Secretary General Collins Oyu stressed that Kajiado County remains a hardship area, making the status crucial for teachers working in the region. He also called for the recruitment of more teachers to meet the UNESCO recommended teacher-student ratio.
Kajiado still stands as a hardship area, hard to staff. And apparently, Kajiado, having been given affirmative action status, we're learning that this has been withdrawn, and in fact, some sub-counties have lost the status of hard to staff and hardship area. So we must appeal to Teacher Service Commission.
We want those areas that are not that were reviewed as hard to staff by Teacher Service Commission in the last CBA. We want those areas reinstated back.
Well, that report brings us off fast break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
Are you thinking about your future? Saving through a registered retirement benefits plan offers amazing benefits that make a difference when it matters most. A registered retirement benefits plan allows you to save up to 20,000 shillings every month tax-free. And investment income from a pension scheme is tax-exempt, meaning your money grows even faster, especially when you add the compound interest. Your retirement benefits provide a basic, reasonable income after your working life, preventing old age poverty and offering contingency funds in cases of ill health, death, or other disruptions. It acts as a safety net upon loss of employment, like during the COVID-19 pandemic, and offers financial protection to your dependents. Plus, it can cover post-retirement medical costs, one of the biggest expenses for retirees. Secure your future and enjoy your retirement to the fullest with a registered pension plan. Plan today for a brighter tomorrow. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Are you looking for a brand-growing outdoor advertising with beautiful simplicity and an artistically inspired choice? Look no further. Our 40 years of credible reputation and experience will give you exceptional brand traction.
Chapati sitakagi mtu angalie, sitakataa kuiba. Ulienda shule kusomea kupika chapati.
Ameitisha chakula inaitwa fichitisho. Karibu customer.
Mimi ni mbuzi.
Hii ni tabia gani mnajaribu kufanya?
Ongeri. No, am I a kid? Wacha hasira.
Wewe.
Dae bwana. Nimekungua no. Unakaa umesibu ndio kula nini tena?
We are located at Corner Plaza, 4th floor on Parklands Road. Take Talk. Get your brand on the talk with City Clock.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it.
Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed. We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
MSMEs are at the heart of driving the government's bottom-up economic revolution, one business at a time.
So as young people, inabidi tunajituma. Ukipata 500, ile 500 nikipata ile 500 nitaweka itoshe. Nimekala kama shilingi nataka kununua, ninunue kompyuta nataka kununua. Nani nang'ang'ana tu.
From local hustlers to game changers, building dreams and growing teams through job creation, tech innovation, and financial inclusion. Is the Hustler Fund the spark fueling the fire for economic transformation? Join us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. on The Shift as we talk to MSME Principal Secretary Susan Mangeni to find out if these small businesses are igniting big solutions. The Shift.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. Professionals, scholars and authors from northern Kenya have challenged parents and leaders in the region to fully embrace girl-child education, noting it is key for development in the region. Despite cultural norms, the girls in the region have continued to show tremendous courage to write books on that confront them in northern Kenya.
To write this book is because of something that I experienced on my way journey, which motivated me to start an organization called African Adventurer Taslima that advocate against illegal migration and tahrir.
I believe that women are naturally more creative because I believe it's us who are, we house the baby. Like when women are pregnant, they are the ones who carry the baby. And that's why I believe that women are more creative. And if she's not creating a baby, she's creating a book.
It is not easy for a girl to venture into authorship. Our boys so far, actually, we do not see such talents. It's not coming out. Our girls are excelling more than our boys. That tells you one thing, that with proper education and a bit of nurturing, wonders will happen, and we'll see our youngsters taking a world stage.
Taslim, a young lady, all the difficulties that she faced, she decided actually to write her challenge, her difficulties, in order actually to give a lesson to other youths here, not only in northern part of Kenya, but also like within the Somali community, but also like we can say all the African continent, all the youths in African continent, because the youths in Africa are facing the same problems.
A rental apartment in Kiambu County has been closed down following an inspection in the wake of claims of rogue landlords who discharge waste through water streams across the county. Kiambu County government, through the Department of Water, Environment and Natural Resources, conducted the inspection following a surge in communicable diseases.
Dysfunctional sewerage systems left open, broken and leaking pipes dripping wastewaters. and an unkempt environment greets you as you enter these residential apartments. The contents of the leaking sewage drain into a stream that passes through a nearby farm. In the farm, arrowroots, sugarcane and bananas are growing. The inspection carried out by the County Executive Committee member of Environment David Kuria said it was unfortunate that waste from the rental apartment was posing a health risk. He authorized the immediate closure of the apartment for 24 hours and urged the tenants to vacate, saying the situation was dire.
To it is that we found very bad situation where one house, which is just behind us, is releasing raw sewer that I've given them 24 hours. That house, the way it is, people must vacate because it's messy, it's not habitable.
He warned the food growing in the farms were posing a health risk.
I want to confirm that part of the problems you're having in terms of the disease burden is as a result of discharge of untreated raw sewage.
The Environment CEC urged the apartment caretaker to honor court summons. For Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
And now 3 students undertaking Internet of Things and Robotics Studies at Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies are beneficiaries of a 6.5 billion shillings World Bank funded scholarship program that aims to enhance the innovation ecosystem infrastructure. The students won the scholarship on the backing of their innovation that uses robotics and IoT to ensure that watering, temperature, lighting, humidity, air quality and soil moisture in a farm are perfect for plants to thrive.
The innovation is a system that monitors a farm by accurately regulating the conditions best suited for the particular crop. It consists of a set of sensors and modules which collect data and trigger the system to control the farm and ensure proper agronomic conditions.
Depending on the soil moisture of the soil to trigger the pump. For example, we've set the threshold for dryness to a bit 500 and here to 800. So when it's below 800, it means that the soil is wet and it will trigger the pump to stop watering the flowers.
The system works by regulating humidity, temperature, soil moisture, airflow, light, and pH for farmers who choose to grow their crops in a greenhouse. Designed to be farmer-friendly, farmers can control a greenhouse with a smartphone through an app which is easy to understand and operate. More so, farmers can log into their accounts and control the greenhouse through SMS. The farmer can choose to control the farm automatically, where the farm regulates itself according to the optimum conditions of the crops being grown. Notifications will be sent to the farmer through an app or SMS. On the other hand, it can also be controlled manually, where, for example, the farmer can set the temperature to 24 degrees or the soil moisture to a particular value.
Here we have a small prototype for greenhouse, and in here we are checking everything that resonates with the crops. One being the temperature of the soil, number 2 being the temperature of the environment, and number 3 it's also the humidity that's in the greenhouse.
The innovation is also intended to make farming attractive to the youth, make the venture less labor-intensive, reduce costs, and conserve resources such as water and soil. Additionally, the invention provides farmers with recommendations that boost the quality of produce.
You will find that most of the farmers will tend to water the plants, and during that time you will find that the soil has some moisture, so they face issues like overwater and underwatering. Our project here now tries to solve that problem by automating the irrigation process.
Stakeholders from the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies are calling for more public-private partnerships to sponsor the growing number of innovative youth. The program is being implemented by the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry through the State Department for Industry. Ndota Mokami for Lunchtime News. So we have
The National Treasury has assured that it is taking concerted efforts in reducing graft and improving efficiency in tax collection and implementation for the country to realize savings in funding its fiscal obligations. National Treasury and Economic Planning Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says Kenya ought to improve its domestic revenue mobilization if it is to meet its financial obligations every financial year.
According to the latest figures from the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Kenya's external borrowing for this financial year currently stands at 348 billion shillings, with a further 296 billion shillings borrowed from the domestic market.
Tax revenue growth was only at 13.3%, indicating that our tax collection is not keeping pace with economic growth. This highlights the need to reassess our tax policies and administration of revenue strategies to broaden the tax base and boost revenue collection.
Speaking while opening the 52nd East Africa Revenue Authorities Commissioners General Meeting in Nairobi, Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi noted that there has been a shift in international borrowing as countries begin to look at ways of taming runaway borrowing.
The attention of our traditional partners is shifting away from us, we like it or not. If today we are getting funding from World Bank to support our activities, from IMF, we must be alive to the fact that the support is going down day by day.
This comes on the backdrop of increased revenue mobilization for the financial year 2023-2024, which grew by 11.1% after the Kenya Revenue Authority collected 2.47 trillion compared to 2.166 trillion in the previous financial year.
KRA has integrated its system with key corporations and government agencies to seamlessly acquire third-party data for tax purposes. This includes integration with the business registration services for verifying private limited company details and ongoing collaboration with payment providers to monitor tax compliance among merchants using their systems.
Alan Auko, Lunchtime News.
In other news, SACCOs have been encouraged to leverage on technology that will aid in providing innovative solutions to improve the products and services offered to their members. Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and SME Development Wycliffe Oparanya says members' preferences are now shifting towards consuming digital products, hence the need to adopt other sustainable avenues for growth. The remarks emerged during KUNIT's SACCO's 50-year celebration, where stakeholders further called upon cooperatives to offer mentorship and guidance opportunities aimed at empowering members.
Challenge facing the sector and this product economy require us to adapt and innovate, and I encourage KUNIT SACCO to continue exploring new avenues for sustainable growth and improvement, not just for itself, but for the entire cooperative sector in general.
We endeavor to seek prosperity for our members by delivering the best service possible, giving them well-researched and innovated products that responds to their needs and will enhance customer loyalty.
There is need to address the systemic barriers limiting women in the livestock sector, such as access to credit, by developing tailored financial products and establishment of strategies to ensure women's equal participation in livestock markets. Trevor Ngenda with the details.
The livestock sector contributes 40% of Kenya's agricultural GDP, making it a vital livelihood source, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions, where over 70% of the population depends on livestock for food and income. However, men traditionally control key aspects of the industry, including ownership, decision-making, and access to markets.
Somali community, sisi yetu ni kukaa kwa nyumba peke yake. Wanaume hawataki wanawake waingie kwa soko na competition. Because mwanamke akiingia kwa competition ya soko, anaweza pata wateja wengi kushinda yeye na anaweza enda mbali kushinda yeye.
To address these imbalances, stakeholders and policymakers are now advocating for gender inclusivity in the sector through enhanced financial literacy and access to training on livestock keeping for women.
We disadvantage our women when we don't involve them actively. We have over time done studies and pilots, and we have seen that when women are well prepared in this business, they are succeeding very well, others more than the men. So we are deliberately going there and to propping the women so that they can play their active role in livestock business.
Other interventions include the establishment of a regional livestock marketing platform under the Africa Pastoral Markets Development Platform to facilitate the linkage of women-led livestock enterprises to both local and international markets.
This is a 4 years intervention focusing on promoting the pastoral private sector integration into livestock markets, because we believe if we manage to open markets and get the livestock private sector integrated into market, this will be the engine who will pull the whole value chain.
Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
Now, the world's largest annual climate conference, COP29, entered the second week today, with negotiators set to resume negotiations after the weekend break. O'Brien Kimani is attending the Conference of Parties in Baku and has more details.
Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we are here at the Olympic Stadium in the city of Baku, Azerbaijan. This is the venue of the COP29, which started on the 11th of this month, and of course it is going all the way up to around 22nd. We are expecting technical teams to start conversations and negotiations around the two sticky issues. One of them is on how to cut green gas emission and the phase out of fossil fuels, bearing in mind that we are in a country whose economy is 90% powered by oil and gas. And the other issue that is expected to divide, or is dividing negotiators here, is the issue of the...
While we are here talking about climate change, we need to know that it's because of climate injustices that countries are in debt. It's because of climate injustices that countries are in economic crisis. So if we're talking about climate justice, let's not forget about economic justice, which brings in elements of tax justice. It brings in conversations about resources. It talks about controlling. Why are we not putting real focus on loss and damage today, this week? Why can't we put focus and ensure that the structure that has been put in place is now rolled out and ready to be executed?
The built environment actually contributes to almost 21% of the greenhouses emissions. And so from this conversation, I really want to see more centralized and intentional innovations being showcased in the conversations, or support for innovations, support for housing finance, particularly for the vulnerable groups. We realize that most of the time the focus is on people that already have housing and require rehabilitation, but the vulnerable groups do not have access to financing, that the vulnerable groups are not sensitized or educated enough on the innovative construction practices that can allow them home ownership. So I'm hoping that there's a bit of focus in innovation, there's a bit of focus in access to financing for the low-income households, and I'm also hoping for an adoption for the NDCs in most of our governments, or if not all of our governments that haven't adopted them, to ensure inclusion of housing.
Margaret Mengo from Habitat for Humanity and Susan Otieno from Action Aid joining me here at the COP29, the venue being Olympic Stadium in the city of Baku. Week 2 is finally here with us, and of course this is what we call the home stretch. Negotiators and technical teams are supposed to sit down, burn the midnight oil, and of course craft that very important COP29 text. We are here and we'll continue to give you daily updates on what is happening here. My name is O'Brien Kimani. I'm now handing you back to Broadcasting House.
And now in the sports arena, Kenya's double Olympic champion Beatrice Chebet won the 2024 Cross International de Atalica in Seville, Spain. A three-time world cross-country champion led from gun to tape and finished alone in a strong 23 minutes and 32 seconds. Kenyan-born Daisy Jepkemei, representing Kazakhstan, took second position, clocking 23 minutes and 59 seconds, while Uganda's Charity Cherop recorded 24 minutes and 35 seconds to finish third. Chebet, who has won every race, has competed in these years, holds in the 10,000 meters world record after clocking 28 minutes and 14 seconds at the Hayward Field in May this year during the Diamond League. Chebet is a World Athletics Female Athlete of the Year nominee for 2024.
Pues ahí está, Beatriz Chebet, que va a ganar el Cross Internacional de Itálica, categoría ahora en su 42 edición. Gana Chebet, gana este Cross Internacional de Itálica, la plumarquista mundial que se ha dado un paseo. Yo me lo guiso, yo me lo como, desde el pistoletazo de salida, ha torturado a todas sus rivales y ahora nos van a aguantar aquí en la línea de meta porque hay muchos intereses puestos. Vamos con la segunda, que va a ser Daisy Jepkemei, la atleta kazaja que ganó en Atapuerca, segunda en Itálica. Buena carrera también para Jepkemei.
England overpowered the Republic of Ireland 5-0 at Wembley in the UEFA Nations League B matches to earn their promotion back to the top tier. Erling Haaland scored a hat-trick as Norway beat Kazakhstan by the same margin to earn their promotion too. In League A, Adrien Rabiot scored a brace as France beat Italy 3-1 to leapfrog them in Group 2. Top seed Jannik Sinner became the first Italian to win the ATP Tour Finals when he beat the fifth-ranked American Taylor Fritz in straight sets of 6-4, 6-4 to Camis' glorious year in style. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for choosing KBC Lunchtime News. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mawara. My name is Wambiru. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.